How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Lucid, which ended up putting up a green day, being up just over 4.5% on the day. If you remember what I said in my previous video, if it can make a move to $19, that would be a good look. It ended up seeing a high of $19.05. And when we talked about support, you know what? I'll talk about it further in this video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Lucid. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $18.89, being up 4.54%. On the low, it tested $17.50, and then on the high, testing $19.05. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 24.777 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 23.37 million shares. So what we noticed, we did have above average volume, and we also seen some strength in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is at 37.06. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 100-day, the 200-day, the 50-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. And it's clear to see that Lucid is in a bear market, trading below all of our major moving averages. So first, let me point out, in yesterday's video, I was saying if we have a strong market, I'd want to see Lucid touch $19. We ended up seeing a high of $19.05. So I know many were excited to see that. As far as for the low where we tested on the day, it was at $17.50. And remember what I was saying, it was right around this area that you want to see Lucid actually hold up, and it did that as well. So if we have strength in the markets going into tomorrow, also keep in mind from what I saw, Amazon didn't do too well in regards to earnings, then of course you'd want to see Lucid have some price action above $19.05 and look for a potential move to see if you can get to $20. We know this is a psychological area for Lucid. The last time it got to the $20 range, the high that it got to was $20.01. If we end up having some weakness inside of the markets as far as for tomorrow, of course you're going to want to see $18 hold up. If it doesn't hold up, then we will be testing support again at $17.50, and that's where we want to see some strength. If we end up breaking through $17.50, the next area that we have support at, like I was saying in the previous videos, is around $16.10. So now let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the short interest information for Lucid. So for the off-exchange short volume ratio, it's at 64.01%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 6.71 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 150,000, updated 29 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 9.84%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 26th, it is at 68.04, and then for the close of the 27th, being at 64.01. So what does this show us? Along with the short interest percentage of the float, Lucid does have short squeeze potential since it's at 19.57%. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Lucid. So we see here on the inflow, it is at 71.89 million, and then on the outflow, it's at 67.07 million. So we had an inflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown on the large, it was 6.92. On the medium, it was 36. 26.62, and then on the small, it was 28.35. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 0. On the medium, it was 40.17, and then on the small, it was 26.90. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for today, April the 28th, we had an inflow of 6.92 million. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tend to represent the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the large, it represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 1.51%. So this continues to be a consistent range for Lucid. So for all of my long-term investors out there, you're probably going to be happy to hear that. And what that shows us, many who are inside of this stock are holding on to their positions. Now let's go on to the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for Lucid, before we get started, let's talk about what's going down inside of the after hours. We had Apple that released earnings. Of course, they were able to beat expectations, but Amazon ended up doing fairly bad. Last time I checked, they were down like 10%, and the overall market looks really bad inside of the after hours. I also took a look at Lucid, and Lucid was pulling back as well. So we end up having a red day going into tomorrow. I'm expecting to see a lot of weakness in Lucid stock. And now let's talk about the price action. What do I mean by this? So for the price action, we saw support on the day hold up at $17.50. Remember what I said yesterday, you'd want to see support hold at around $17.60. So I was off by 10 cents, but we know if $17.50 does break, the next area of support that Lucid has is around $16.10. So you want to be aware of that. We did end up seeing a high of $19.05. I also stated in my previous video, if we have a strong day inside of the market, that's a level that I want to see Lucid reach. So what I want to see, if it decides to be bullish on Friday, even though the after hours is not looking too good, then you'd want to see some price action for Lucid to get to at least $20. The last time it got to $20, it was around $20.01. That's where it had some resistance. But we also have to take into consideration, you'd at least want to see it get to the 21-day EMA, which is around $21.08. So again, add that to your homework. At least you know what it looks like as far as for the upside and as well as for the downside. In my personal opinion, I am not seeing a lot of strength whatsoever. The sell-off that was happening inside of the after hours was fairly significant. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent short interest information, it does continue to have short squeeze potential. There's a lot of shorts who are vested in this play. So that's why you're going to see a good amount of volatility. But what was really clear, when there was a lot of buying that was going on, retail was definitely out there buying up those shares. So it shows that there's a lot of demand in the market, especially with the recent catalyst that came out in regards to the deal with Saudi Arabia. So here's another thing that we need to understand. The environment that we are in, we can't forget about it. And what do I mean by that? We're going to be in an environment dealing with interest rate hikes, and the Fed meeting is going to be coming up next week. So you need to make sure for yourself, if you are a long-term investor and you see the stock continuing to pull back, you have a strategy. And if you are a trader, whether you're going to be playing to the long side or you're going to be playing to the short side, you want to make sure whatever strategy you're planning to use, take advantage of those support levels like I talk about. If those levels end up breaking, you could find great opportunities. And the main reason behind this, Lucid is a growth stock that is not profitable as of yet. So in an environment that we are in, it is not the most favorable. So that's why I say be prepared for that volatility, a lot of opportunities to make money. And if you need help on how to trade this stock, by all means, join us inside of the Discord. We talk about Lucid consistently, almost on a daily basis. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see how the stock performs going into tomorrow. We'll talk soon.